Bear, what's your favorite cake?
Oh, that's a hard one. Right now, on the spot, I probably have to say coffee and walnut cake.
Oh, okay. Marty?
Or a chocolate cake. Or lemon drizzle. Or
Classic.
anything.
I mean,
Everything.
yeah, I mean, chocolate cake, no doubt about it, and preferably something where it's like a little bit, airy inside and has some bits of chocolate and stuff. So good.
This is the Marty, the connoisseur of cakes. Join Marty on his other podcast, World of Cakecraft.
I wish I had that. I really did.
Welcome to Talking WoW, the podcast where we talk about World of Warcraft, believe it or not. My name is Tom, and today we are going to be talking about becoming the ultimate WoW collector. To do that, we have a very special guest with us, and that special guest is Bear from Bear's Adventures. Bear is a Warcraft addict who specializes in creative screenshots, pet and mount collecting, positive vibes, and adores cake. Hey Bear, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome, and I'm very excited because we are standing with you right now in game, and your familiar look, which I've seen on your Twitter posts, it's just honestly I'm fanning a bit right now because I'm like I just see Bear every day on Twitter, and Bear posts like really wholesome and heartwarming stuff on Twitter, and it's just wonderful just to be sitting down chatting with you.
No, you're making me blush.
Well, we have to be nice to our guest at the start, and then the harder stuff comes later.
Okay, I'll
Isn't
brace
that right,
myself.
Marty? Our co-host also here today. Hey, Marty.
Hello, I'm also here, sitting here collecting this moment.
So before we jump into the main topic of this podcast, I think we always like to get a little bit of background information about who you are as a player, Bear, and a bit of your history in the world of Azeroth.
So the very beginning, I suppose, I was introduced to the game by my boyfriend at the time, all because he wanted to refer a friend mount, which I didn't know about at the time, but that's how I got into the game.
Haven't we? Yep. Just like, hey, can you come play this game? But I don't actually care that you're playing it, but I get some pretty awesome rewards.
I know, but I wouldn't mind if he told me. Didn't even tell me. Anyway, so that was the end of Kata, and then I didn't play for ages. And then I started playing then in Mr. Pandaria, but it was just to level. And it wasn't on this character. It was on a Blood Elf at the time. And I followed him around. He leveled me up, but I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I just thought I'll create my own character and do it all myself. And that's where Bear came from. Been my baby ever since, even though I have a million alts, but she's always the number one. Yeah, so I started sort of at the end of Mr. Pandaria, I suppose, when I started to get to grips with everything. Warlords of Draenor is where the memory started, I guess, because that's when I started doing dungeons and raiding, and I was in a really good guild at the time, like really chatty, really friendly guild. Then I left there to go raiding higher up, so to do heroic raiding. Thought I'd dabble in that. Did a bit of mythic raiding, and then all along the way I've kind of gone to Horde, then gone to Alliance, then gone to Horde, then missed the prettiness and went back to Alliance, then went to Horde with a friend, then came back because of the garrisons and how pretty it was. So now I've decided I'm staying Alliance because of the whole cross-faction stuff you can do now. So I'm staying Alliance and I'm not moving. I refuse. No more faction changes.
We'll hold you to that. We will hold you to that one.
Oh, don't quote me on it though. I probably will change in time. Who knows? But yeah, so she's always sort of bimbled around. I've been a Panda, a Mag'har Orc, a Void Elf, all with the same name, which was a bit weird. But yeah, back to being a Panda. And yeah, at the end of the Fated raids in Shadowlands, I just decided that I wanted to take a break from raiding a bit, because it was then that I sort of discovered the Narcissus add-on, and I was having fun making pictures and being creative and collecting more. The other reason is I didn't really want to be pinned down to a schedule, and I just kind of wanted to come and go as I wanted. Yeah, so that's kind of my history, I guess.
You came in at Mr. Pandera, and now full circle, you're sitting here still with your panda.
I know. Guilty as charged.
Circle of life, really, isn't it? I'm actually interested because, like you say, you were very much playing the game and you got to this point where you're doing a lot of raiding and also mythic raiding.
I wasn't very good at the mythic stuff, but I did it.
You were still there.
I joined in. I wasn't great. But I dabbled. That comes
with its own pressures and, commitments as well. But I'm probably just a bit interested, what made you decide to change the way you play?
I suppose it's just wanting to just have it easier, just more of an easier going WoW life. Because a lot of the time, all I felt like I was doing was either grinding for one of the powers, whatever it was that was in the game at the time, grinding for that, grinding for something else, trying to get the best gear. I think I just got to a point where I just wanted to have more fun with it. Not that raiding wasn't fun, it's so hard to describe. I just wanted to focus more on, like, I suppose the collecting side of it. I think because I know that a lot of streamers, watched a lot of streamers during lockdown, and I think they probably influenced the way I play as well, because I saw how much fun they were having by like collecting everything, and I thought, oh, I want to do more like that. So yeah, I think that's probably where it changed. I don't know.
No, I mean, I feel like, because I'm thinking about that as well. How long do I want to keep raiding and things like that? And I think raiding is fun, but there's also a lot of upkeep you need to do to continue having fun with that. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Originally, I was only going to do it for one patch. And the guild I was in at the time, very, very nice guild. And they said, oh yeah, no problem, we'll wait for you. If you want to join in with the alt raiding rather than the main raiding, you can do that as well when you're ready to. And I joined them for the alt raiding, and the whole time, as lovely as the people are, the whole time I was raiding, all I was thinking about is how I could be using that time to farm a mount, or how I could be going after a pet. As much as I was having fun with the community and the people, I just missed collecting stuff. And I think it was at that point I realised that I made the right choice.
Well, that's the thing. There's like so much to do in World of Warcraft as well, that you have to find like that thing that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And for some people that is just, logging in every day, doing Mythic Plus, or logging in twice a week to do some raids. And there is just this whole other side to the game, which so much to collect, right? There's just so much there with mounts and pets and transmog. And some people just enjoy that. It's like collecting stamps or something like that. It's like, I've just, filled another page with mounts. And then there's just like really intricate ways to get certain mounts or pets as well. I think just some people enjoy that. No pressure. It's like nobody's relying on me to, farm this battle pet tonight. So we, get this bunch of loot. And I think sometimes, it's just a relaxing way to approach the game. And you got to have fun. You got to be doing what you enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still do Mythic Plus, and occasionally I have the urge to raid. So I'll either join someone that I know and join them in their community, or I'll be brave and pug the odd time when I pluck up the courage to do it.
So brave. You're braver than me.
Oh, it's taken a lot. There was some time during Legion and BFA when my confidence was knocked quite a lot, being shouted at by pugs. I'm terrible for butt pulling, so I always pull things I shouldn't do with my little panda bum. So it was the fear of being shouted at for accidentally doing that kind of stopped me. And then I met this really lovely community, shout out to the PEs if they're around. And yeah, they just sort of took me under their wing and made me love Mythic Plus again. I still don't do it probably as much as I should, but occasionally I'll get the urge and I want to just go for it, especially when there's a mount involved.
And it's always nice to have that community as well that you can turn to, and you feel welcome to do that, and you don't feel that like pug pressure, because there's just some really strange expectations going on there for some pug groups.
I know, tell me about it.
What are you saying, Tom? You don't know everything about all the dungeons?
No, apparently not. No, just you know what? It's okay not to know everything about a video game.
True.
We're all here to learn from one another, because I learn from Bear quite a lot on Twitter when Bear posts things like, did you know when you set your Hearthstone face in the direction of like where you want to go, because when you Hearthstone it, like, it saves the position of your character.
Really?
Yes. Oh, that was actually going to be one of the things I talked about later as one of my little
sorry.
takes. No, it's fine, because I have others as well. It's all good.
Okay, good.
But yeah,
that's just a little teaser, everyone, of the potential tips to come.
I didn't know that.
If you say if you're in, like, I don't know, wanting to like run off to something really fast and you go to that inn, if you face the direction you want to go in, the next time you use your Hearthstone you will be in that same position, facing the same way. So just walk as far away as you can from the innkeeper so that you've got more of a run, and then turn around, face the direction you want to go, and then set your Hearthstone. Gives you an extra second. extra second of game time.
Oh my god!
That's going to change Marty's life.
How much time I could have saved this past 18 years I've played World of Warcraft. Jeez.
Yeah, you could have had so much free time now. You could go play another game,
like
I
Diablo
know.
4.
I could have retired now.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier, Bear, about the Narcissus add-on. But what this add-on is, it's essentially a photo mode for World of Warcraft. And I think we've seen the rise of photo modes being introduced into video games, because that's another thing that some people like to do. They like to take screenshots. And I'm a big fan of taking screenshots because there's just so much beauty in certain games, and especially in World of Warcraft. Absolutely stunning, especially Dragonflight. Big shout out to that. That is a screenshot hub right there. If you haven't seen this add-on in play, I'd highly recommend checking it out. I'd highly recommend checking out Bear over on Twitch as well, because Bear is streaming there, and I think you're showing like people how to use that add-on as well, because you're always creating these incredible screenshots as well. And would you like to tell us just a little bit more about that add-on, perhaps for someone that doesn't know what it is?
Yeah, so you can do a whole load of things with it. So the main thing is that it brings up your character really clear and crisp. You can change the lighting of it, so you can either look like you're scary with the light shining underneath you, or you can put yourself in the dark, or you can make yourself bright green. Whatever colour you want to make yourself, you can change the colours, but you can also add your friends into the picture, or you can add mounts in, or pets, or even NPCs. You can add in people like the Lich King or Anduin or whoever else you want in your picture. Give them things in their hands so they can be holding a book. All sorts. There's loads of like visual things. There's stuff you can put on your back, loads of different lighting effects, all the spells. I could talk about it for absolutely ages. But
it's so in depth, isn't it? It's
I know, but I'm still learning as well. There's still stuff I don't know about it that I've come across and picked up from other people, and it's just so cool how much you can do with it.
Yeah, and I came across it because I was following Bear on Twitter, and I saw you doing these screenshots like all the time, and I'm just like, these are amazing. Like, how do you do this? And I found this add-on, and I was online with Marty one day, and I think I shared my screen on Discord with Marty, and I was messing around with it for 30 minutes, and Marty was just watching me like be goofy, like putting our characters in and like, you know, doing some animations, but pausing the animations so you can take screenshots with it. And we've actually used that for like some of our content, for like our thumbnails and, you know, for posts on Twitter as well. And it's so awesome. I'm just like so happy I found this add-on. Again, thank you, Bear. You're welcome. You're the gift that keeps on giving when you follow Bear on Twitter.
Yeah, the whole Narcissus add-on, I actually discovered it through a guild member who made really cool pictures. And I was like, oh, you need to show me how to use that. And so she spent some time showing me what to do, how to do it. And then a little bit later on, I discovered someone called Mistweaver Lily. I don't know if you know her from Twitter as well, or Instagram. She's even bigger than me, screenshot-wise. And all of her pictures were just like, oh my God, I need to create this with Bear. You know, I need to do a picture with her pets. If I can, you know, be, you know, as good as that, that would be amazing. And even she is now helping me. Just yesterday on my stream, she was telling me how to change the lighting, which is so nice because everyone helps each other, which is one thing I really love about it. But yeah, the Narcissus salon is great. I did put a guide together on YouTube. It was the first video I ever made.
Okay.
For some reason, I went on for 45 minutes for my very first video, and there's lots of ums and lots of ahs in it because I was so nervous making it. But yeah, that was quite fun to do.
If you're happy, we will link to that. And,
yeah, of course.
People can go check it out
on YouTube,
because it's a great add-on. And something else, just to end on this, I love that you can put like speech bubbles in and like subtitle caption text, because if you wanted to, you could make like a comic book, and I know there's people out there making like comic strips with this add-on, and it has a lot of complexities, but also I think when you're getting started, it's quite easy to, you know, learn a few things to get yourself going, and then you just blow your mind even more when you actually learn how to use the add-on.
You can also make your own login screens as well.
Yes, I saw that. It's just, possibilities are endless, and I think it's something that perhaps Warcraft is missing, and this really adds like a whole new dynamic to the game, that if you are into that photo mode or, you know, presenting your character in a certain way, you can really just capture it in such a different way that you just can't with, you know, a natural screenshot. So definitely check that out. We'll put a link to that add-on as well in our show notes. So back on to talking about collecting, Bear. I know that some people who collect mounts or, you know, farm mounts and pets, they have like a routine of like what they go through each week. I'm wondering, do you have something similar like that? Or do you have like a daily routine of something that you do to maximize your collecting ability?
So this moment in time, I wing it. is the honest answer.
We love honest answers here.
But back in Shadowlands, I was so organised. I've just gone a little bit hickledy-pickledy this expansion for some reason.
Did you have a spreadsheet?
Yes. All colour coordinated.
I'm asking because I know Marty would have wanted to know that.
Yep, colour coordinated. It was so pretty.
Oh.
I had all of the different classes in the right colour. Yeah, and I had a different sheet for each thing, whether it was like the current content patch or whether it was old like mount runs and things. But the reason I don't have a spreadsheet anymore is I've discovered an add-on called Saved Instances is the name of the add-on. You can get it on CurseForge, and you can customize it to only show the mount runs that you want to do, but it will also show you the weekly quests, time walking, anything like the call-in boxes back from Shadowlands, all sorts of stuff. So I kind of use that more so than the spreadsheet now, and I think because I've got that, that's why I've not felt the need to fill out my lovely spreadsheet, a lovely colour coordinated spreadsheet.
That's fair, but yeah, during Shadowlands I had a spreadsheet as well, because I was going for all the transmogs from each.
Yes.
Each armor type and each what are they called?
All the covenants.
Covenants, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I had the same.
had a huge spreadsheet for that, and it evolved into I also kept track of have I done all my Mythic Plus and have I done the weeklies and do stuff like that, different characters. So it took off in an unhealthy way maybe.
I think that's another reason why I've ditched the spreadsheet is I became obsessed with making sure it was all filled out right. So I had all of in Torghast, you had to collect all the little followers from there. So I had all of the list with which ones I'd collected and which ones I didn't. And yeah, it became a bit too much. So in a way, I'm glad I've ditched the spreadsheet.
There goes our follow-up episode of spreadsheets of Warcraft, which we were going to have in the future.
I just love spreadsheets too much. I'm a little bit of a spreadsheet nerd.
You are in good company with that.
But there's another thing I use as well when I can't decide what to do. So I don't know if you guys have used Simple Armory before. So there's a website called Simple Armory. It's really cool. You put your character name into it and your realm, and then along the top it'll say like collections or something like that. If you click on collections and then in mounts, it'll give you, and then there's like a show planner. If you click that button, it'll start at the top and it will say take the Hearthstone to this place, take the portal to there, and it will sort of give you a map of which mounts to go for in which order to make sure that you don't miss any, and it'll only show the ones that you still need. It won't show
cool.
like
it's
old
like an
ones.
itinerary for your PlayStation.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Yes.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing after this recording now.
I know, but you do get that where you log into the game and you go, what do I do? Do I just jump around in Stormwind for a while?
Yes.
And you try to think of something to do? I think this might be good for you, Marty, because you are someone that just likes a plan, don't you? Just give me direction and tell me where to go and I'll go do it.
Yeah.
Now I feel I should tell you about the All the Things add-on as well.
I know that one.
That's a great add-on, but also a bad add-on, because you lose so much time. So many hours of my life have gone to ATT.
I had it for a while. I have uninstalled it now, though. But yeah,
what is that one? Just for people who don't know what that is.
So it shows all of the things in the game that you can collect. So again, you can customize it. So I mainly play hunters, so I just have it set to my hunter characters. And anywhere you are in the game, so say for example right now we're in Half Hill, if you pulled it up here, it would show you all of the things nearby in this zone that you can collect, including achievements, flight points, anything in the game. It will show you how to do it. It's quite handy if you don't know where to get something though, because if you've got TomTom installed as well, you can press Alt and then click on one of the vendors, and then it will give you the map point where to go and get that thing you're missing. It's just, it's a really cool add-on, but also dangerous. You will lose so many hours of your life. This is the warning. But it's also good for, I don't know if you remember in Shadowlands, there was that world quest where you had to spot the Bogart or Bogart? It was like a hidden character.
Yeah.
If you hovered over it, it would tell you which one was the Bogart. So that add-on also does that too, for those hidden sort of quests.
Nice.
Sneaky. You're doing a lot of collecting, and I'm sure you have a lot of things in your collection already,
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
But what are some of your favorite or rare collector's items?
I think the rarest one, or the one that people are most jealous of, is probably Invincible. I kind of screamed quite loudly when that dropped. So loudly that my other half ran in wondering what had happened. Yeah, I made a post of it, put it on Twitter, and that was kind of the one that made me take off a little bit and got me noticed. I think that's where it sort of started.
You're in the Invincible Club now, so...
Yeah, but...
Prestigious.
But the cool thing about it, and I didn't realise at the time who they were, but the woman that voices Sylvanas commented, and is it Christy Golden, who writes all the novels?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She also commented, and they were both like, oh, I still don't have the mount. And I'm like, I didn't know who they were, so I just did my usual bubbly approach, and just said, it's fine, try offering him a piece of cake. He might take the cake. And it was only afterwards my friend was like, you do realise who that is, don't you? I'm like, oh no, I had no idea. And I just felt so stupid. Yeah, so that is probably my rarest, I would say.
I think like Invincible is just like the one everyone is want that. I want that one. If you're not like a big collector, you still say like Invincible is the one. And I know I don't have it yet. I don't think Marty has it.
No, I don't. And I mean, one that comes to mind that I would be interested in as well, I don't know if it's still available, is the one from Stratholme, but I think that's more like a sentimental thing for me, maybe.
Is that the Rivendell's Charger?
It is.
You can still get it, and I don't have it yet, and I want it.
Yeah, same.
Yes, you can. You can still get it.
I farmed that one back in early Wrath of the Lich King when it was like very thematic, and I think I did 160 Stratholme runs for that.
Oh wow!
But I enjoyed it because I was like farming the Argent Dawn rep at the time. I was just like, this is fun. I really enjoyed it. I got a real thrill out of that one because it wasn't too much of a grind, and it just, I don't know, that one always sticks with me, that I really enjoyed that one, and I was so happy when it dropped, of course. And I just used that mount for 5 or 6 years because it was just so good.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I love as much as a good spreadsheet, is when you can combine things and feel extra productive when you're doing something.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, that is the way to do it.
You've actually given me a tip, though. I actually completely forgot about that mount. So I need to add that back into my routine.
There we go.
There, thank you.
I want to see Bear on the Undead Steed, just in time for Halloween or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be... Oh, when the Headless Horseman mount dropped as well. I screamed when that dropped too. I was on a Discord call with a friend and nearly burst her eardrums when that one dropped, but yeah.
I still don't have that all these years.
I have that one. It's a good one. It's on my favorites.
I was still convinced the only reason I got it is because I made an offer with my shaman. So at the time, I was moving realms, and I said to her, look, I can't bring all of you. If you get this mount for me, I will commit and I will bring you with me to my new realm. And it dropped. I was like, fine, you can come.
That's another tip there. Just make, promises like that to the RNG gods, and things do happen.
That actually happened to me recently with the polar bear as well. There was a polar bear mount. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a bear for bear? And if you just drop this for me, wouldn't it be amazing? And out it popped. I was like, wow. Just sometimes it happens. It's great.
It is, yeah. You just feel like you've manifested it. Just like, come on, this time. We actually had a little Twitter exchange earlier today about Illidan's bow. And I really wanted that for my Hunter's PvP transmog. I didn't know about the bow, and I saw it, and I was like, it's from Illidan. Okay. Went and did it one week. It didn't drop. And then went there the next week, and I was like, okay, come on, let's just drop this week, because Black Temple is a bit of a slog, isn't it?
It
just
really,
to get all the way to
is.
Illidan. And I was like, I'm not going to enjoy farming this for a long time. And then it just dropped, and I was like, yay, I don't have to come back here for a while. And I was very delighted.
Yeah,
that it dropped second time.
And months I farmed that every week to try and get that bow, and it would not drop. I'm so jealous you got it so quick. You're gonna tell me you got Ashes of Alar on your second drop too, aren't you?
No, I don't.
All right, okay. Well, I would have been raging if you told me that.
I got that first time.
Oh my god.
It's the balancing scales, isn't it? For every person that farms for 6 months, somebody gets it first or second time.
Yep.
So you mentioned Ashes of Alar, and you actually mentioned the Rivendell mount there as well. But what other items out there in Azeroth that you really want but you haven't managed to get yet, and why is it the Love Rocket?
Oh, it really is the Love Rocket. 26 characters every single day.
It doesn't exist. It's a myth.
Every day, apart from maybe 2 days because I was doing stuff. But yeah, I ran so many ults for it and it still didn't drop for me. So yeah, that definitely is one. But there's also ones that I just haven't been bothered to do, even though I probably should. So I need there's a pet called Jennifer that is in Karazhan. It's one of the secret ones. and I really need to do that, and I haven't. So I think that's one of them. Yeah, you've already mentioned Ashes. Ashes is my major one.
You know that you're saying these out loud now, that they are going to drop
Oh, I really hope so.
very quickly, because we have
hope.
power in this podcast that as soon as you say something, that's it, it's going to happen.
So what you're telling me is Ashes is going to drop me tomorrow on stream, yeah?
Oh, 100% drop right now.
How does this work, Tom? So is it from recording or from this episode going live?
I'm not going to commit to anything like that. We're drawing to a close here, but before we do, obviously we have a lot of forms of collections in World of Warcraft, which we've been talking about: mounts, pets, transmog, so many things that it's hard to keep track of unless you have great add-ons that Bear suggests. But if you could add in a new collection type, Bear, what would you pick? And I'm thinking, like, for example, people have mentioned like books in the past, being able to like add them to a collection tab would be really nice, so you could revisit all those novels that you've picked up out in the world, or history books. But do you have anything in particular that you're like, I'd like to be able to collect that?
I wish that they brought the soul shapes back, but like proper, that you could have them everywhere. And I think if they brought in player housing, there's so much you could do with that. You could make furniture, you could have paintings, I could take pictures and then you could frame them. There's just so much I would love. Or even once you have recipes tracked. I don't know. I think soul shapes is probably my answer, because I really miss those.
And I think people thought with like when garrisons come in, they were like, this is the player housing we've been waiting for. But
I know.
I think that's still like one of the most request features, isn't it? People saying like, we want our own house and we want like to be able to furnish it and put paintings. And I'm just imagining, Bear, like you having your own plot of land out in Pandera, and you've got some of your screenshots up in frames on your wall, and you're just loving life. And
yeah, 100%. That would be me. That would be me. Hopefully one day they'll make it come true.
What about you, Marty? What would you add if you could collect something?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I think you did talk about the books, and that actually did sort of trigger my mind a little bit too, because there's so many, things in game that sure I might have read it at some point, but I'm not going back to whatever old dungeon that it was hid inside. So I actually think that would be a good idea. Sorry for lack of imagination right there, but I actually generally think that would be a good idea. Can I borrow that one?
Sure, because I've got a different one.
Good.
Anyway, I want to be able to collect cards I want like a card game in Warcraft, not Hearthstone, but maybe something simpler, maybe like what Final Fantasy XIV has with their little triple trag game. And you've got these cards just out in the world, and you go battle NPCs. That is my dream. Like, I want that.
They could use the Dark Moon Fair with that.
They
like
could.
Dark Moon cards or something.
Dark Moon cards, and they did have didn't they have like the decks that you used to collect, and it was for like a trinket or something like that?
For a trinket. But an actual card collection would be really cool as well. I like that idea.
I don't think they're going to do it because they're like, oh, we're going to take people away from playing Hearthstone. But I think it could just be a nice little mini game in World of Warcraft. And more mini games. I love games within a game. It's sort of like a really niche thing for me. So that's what I'm requesting.
They had that little Bejeweled Blitz game with the little gems.
Yes.
And then there was that Blingtron game as well, which was quite cool.
Yep. And the Plants versus like Zombies quest in Hillsbrad as well. Like they can do these things in game. Like, I mean, we even had chess and Karazhan, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely potential for making fun little games. We've got dragon riding now, which you could say is like a mini game.
And the snail racing, which I've not done
snail
yet.
Racing.
Yeah.
Don't forget snail racing. Yeah, it's just give me more of those, and little things to collect within that is always nice. So to finish off, and I know you've shared so much wonderful knowledge about collecting already, Bear, including add-on recommendations, but would you like to send us off with another little tip that people might not know?
2 that's sticking out of my head. The first one is just a cool little thing, really. If you get out a pet that's a cat, and then if you target the pet and then do /sit, the cat will sit on your lap.
That is cute.
It works with any of the cat pets. So that's kind of cool. And then the other tip I can think of is to use Wowhead's homepage. So the very first page, it tells you what rares are coming up. It has the different expansions as well. So you can find out when like the Shade Hound is up if you don't have that mount from there yet. Tells you when the portals are open for like Arathi Highlands and Darkshore. I don't think that page is used enough. So yeah, the Wowhead homepage is 100% amazing.
I have been using that since the start of Dragonflight because I never ever used it in the past.
Yeah.
And it's just so handy even to click on like Legion to go, oh, that's the world quest that's up, because I'm trying to get that fox mount as well. That's something I really want.
Oh, yeah. I have that.
And
Sorry.
no, it's fine. You know, someone has to have the fox. It's just not me.
Yeah.
But it's just so handy, isn't it? Just at a glance to find out when things are happening in the world, and especially like with Dragonflight, we've got a lot of events happening on a timer with like the soup and everything. It's just good to be able to go, okay, that starts in 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, I mean,
like
even
that.
the Goblin events are up on there at the moment. If you don't have a week or anything for it, they're all up on the front page of Wowhead too.
Great tip. And that has brought us to the end of this episode of Talking WoW. I could have sat and talked here all day with you, Bear. I'm sure you've got so many more tips that you could share with us and add-ons. And...
Probably. I'm a chatterbox too, which doesn't help.
But if you want to find more of Bear, we will have all of Bear's links, Bear's Adventure, in our show notes. There's Twitter, Twitch, there is Instagram and YouTube. We will have all those links in the show notes and to all the add-ons mentioned as well. So definitely check that out. And Bear, thank you again so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and joining us here on Talking WoW.
Thank you very much for having me.
I've been Tom, that's been Marty, and we've been Talking WoW.
Thanks for tuning in, champion. Did you enjoy this episode of Talking WoW? If so, why not drop a review on your podcast catcher of choice, or leave us a comment. You can find Talking WoW on Twitter or YouTube over at Talking WoW. Hope to see you again soon.